Hello, thank you for looking at the Engineer in a Pocket. The Engineer in a Pocket is a tool for mechanical contractors to help you sell more, grow your business, and save your customers money. In this brief demonstration, we will go into how to use the ventilation module. There are three tabs for the ventilation module. The first is the basic project information. The second tab is the input tab. And the third tab is the results. In the project information tab, you put the name of your customer and their location. You also need to select the geographical location so that we pull the correct weather files. You need to identify the fuel sources for their electrical loads and their thermal loads. And so if you pick natural gas and you select the units in which you know what the cost per is, it might be therms, MMBTUs, or cubic feet, or if you get fuel oil or propane, it might be gallons. You put that in here. If in this location you put your contact information, this will automatically echo into the results page that you print out for your customer so they know how to contact you. In the input tab, the first things we need to do is identify the type of space for which you are doing your analysis. These are all the occupancy types identified in the mechanical code for determining ventilation. You select the one that most closely represents the site that you're looking at. You provide the square footage and the ceiling height, and you identify the hours of operation. Those are basics for determining the ventilation rate. When you want to look at equipment efficiency upgrades, let's say they're being served with a gas pack, and so it's natural gas at 80%. Let's say you want to consider proposing a 90 plus, a split system. Then, and let's say for this 1,500 square foot fast food, we put in a 5-tonner, and the supply air is at the ceiling. The ventilation code requires us to derate by 80% for ceiling supply locations. So this calculator will automatically do that for you. This little area here is not used in any of the calculations, but it allows you to determine what your current ventilation rate really is. If you provide the outside air temp, the return air temp, and the mixed air temp before the coil, it will automatically calculate what your current ventilation rate and whether it's sufficient to meet the code. Just a handy tool. The code allows us, the mechanical code allows us to have up to a 50% diversity of occupants. Anytime we change a value that impacts our results, we will be prompted to hit a calculate button. The code does not allow us to go below 50%, and the calculations will not accept anything less than 50%. Even if you leave that at 30, the calculations don't go below 50%. If they don't have a programmable thermostat and you provide us with their hours of operation or the number of days and their occupied and unoccupied set points, we can calculate what their energy savings will be. The code does allow us to utilize natural ventilation. Buildings shall be provided with natural ventilation or mechanical ventilation. So if in this case it's a fast food restaurant and let's say they have a double door, like 40 square feet roughly of openable doors, then we meet the ventilation code naturally 67% of the way. And when we come up here and look at the CFM, you see we're being prompted to recalculate. Without the natural ventilation, we would have been required to bring in 872 CFM, but now only 291 CFM. Let's say we wanted to add heat recovery, or let's say you wanted to add a motorized damper on their outside air. We can calculate what the energy savings would be for that little project. Let's say we wanted to add a CO2 sensor in the space about 3 feet above the floor. We could then control the outside air based on ASHRAE standard 90.1. This is where a very reputable source, ASHRAE, has determined what typical occupancies are for various occupancy rates are for various occupancies. If, for example, we were to look at a different occupancy, say a conference room, and we come down here, we see that these numbers have all changed. So in doing, let's say we've done demand control ventilation and we've accounted for natural ventilation, and let's not do a diversity at this time, and we hit calculate. And let's say that to go with the 90% efficient equipment is, say, $3,000, and to add demand control ventilation, the sensor plus the controls, the wiring and all, another $2,000. We see that it's less than a 1-year payback. And all we're accounting for is the heating energy savings. This would also apply in cooling mode too. So these numbers are extremely conservative. And a less than a 1-year payback is a very easy sale. See, more work. This tab here is the output for you to present to your customers. Right here is the echo of what you put into the project information tab so that they have your contact information. If you have a little logo, you can put that right over it. The measures that we are looking at are automatically identified here. Here's the utility rates that were used in the calculations. Here's your baseline energy use, your cost of your measure. This here is the table required by code, so the jurisdictions will ask for your ventilation table, and this is for a single zone, and it identifies the number of people per 1,000 square feet, the CFM per person, CFM per square foot. It automatically does the D rate, and it allows for the natural ventilation, and then it provides your customer with what their baseline energy would have been and their alternative energy is now, just to handle the heating of the ventilation air. One other feature I'd like to point out is, let's say that this fast food place has an exhaust system of, say, 1,000 CFM, and so we need to have roughly 900 CFM coming in for barometric balance. So if we put that in and hit calculate, watch what happens to our ventilation volumes. See how now they are at about 900 CFM, and it impacts our energy savings. So this would be a good application for adding heat recovery. Let's say it's 50% effective. You see, it saved another 10%. So we hope that you find this tool to be useful for selling more energy saving measures to your customers. Thank you for your time.